you, Katie. That was beautiful as always. Just beautiful. And thank you, Rod and Maggie. And oh my, we've already heard it all. And the thing is, we all need to learn in different ways. We need to hear a reading, we need to hear a meditation and experience it. We need music, and we need somebody talking. And then we kind of integrate it all and we get it, maybe. And then we have fellowship afterwards. So it's a complete package here on Sunday morning. All learners are welcome, and isn't it fun? So a season of light, for the history of humanity, we've had this world to live in with its cycles, with its darkness and its light, its seasons, its days, its time. The planet is rotating, the sun, the moon, the stars. It's all part of what we know as being human in this world. And historically, we've always, as humans, sought the light. We've done it in different ways. And there are many religious practices, religious beliefs that have created stories about the searching for the light and the searching for hope and miracles. And it's not just religion, though. I think it's just, sort of pre-religion. There's a sense of an awareness of sun and darkness. And we know that as winter approaches, as we come to the longest period of darkness, there seems to be less physical light. And so historically people have had these rituals of bonfires and Yule logs and lighting of candles and gathering together and trying to dispel the darkness with the light. As Rod mentioned, darkness can be very fearful. We live in a city, pretty much all of us live in proximity of a city anyway, where we rarely experience total darkness at night. And I remember many years ago I was driving to visit my relatives in West Virginia, and they lived down a country holler, and miles and miles of twisty roads, and it was dark. It was really dark, and I had the headlights, but everywhere around it was completely dark. And it is kind of scary, what if I just drive off this road into the river or whatever. So there's fear about darkness, and we do a lot of camping, and at night you hear these noises, and you can imagine all kinds of large animals out there getting ready to eat you. And so light brings us comfort. We feel safer in the light. And so let's all talk about the outer light. And like was alluded to, we are also talking about the inner light. And I think with our inner light, it does also seem to go in cycles. We get the light and it's gone. Things happen, we forget about the light. We may feel very lost and very frightened because of our inner, our lack of firmness, I would say, with the remembrance of that inner light, with our God light. And so we have all these wonderful rituals externally to guide us and to remind us that life is about cycles, and that dark comes, but then light comes. It's a constant cycle, and you talk about that infinity sign, and it's sort of like, I'm happy, I'm not happy, I'm strong and secure in God, and I'm fearful. And so I think the message is that's life. That's what life in human form is about. It's about cycles. And what we do, both externally and internally, to bring ourselves to the light, to bring ourselves out of fear, and to feel strong and safe in who we truly are. So we teach here who we are. We are light. We are divine. We don't have to do anything to get that, to prove it, to be granted that. It's the truth of who we are. We believe we are created by divinity, and that light of divinity is within us, always there, always present, but we're not always aware of it. Sometimes we cover it up, or we just go to sleep, just forget. So in this season of light and ways of dispelling darkness, it's a time that is also, well, let me back up a little bit. It's helpful to allow the darkness to be there, to not try to push it away or run from it. Let the darkness be there. And it's a time when you can kind of go dormant a little bit, again, metaphorically, and reflect and consider and experience and feel what that's all about. But we don't want to stay there. We might know some people who kind of stay there a little too long, years, lifetimes. We don't want to stay there. It's important to reflect on the darkness of our humanity, and not to deny it, but to be able to look at it and recognize this is kind of the human experience that I'm having right now, that others are having right now. But then to remember that we can bring that to the light. There's a little quote from Rumi that says, "Don't turn away, keep your gaze on the bandaged place or the wound," which could also be the darkness. That's where the light enters. And so with contrast, we understand, we can experience the darkness and then understand the light better in contrast to it. And so at this time of what we call the season of light, all the festivals, all the rituals and the practices that are supposed to be bringing light, we can also find ourselves feeling a little more pressure, maybe a little more stressed. Like we've got various holidays. Probably most of us here do celebrate Christmas. Maybe some of us do celebrate Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. There's a number of spiritual practices at this time of the year, the solstice. But that can also bring some pressure if we feel like we have to be happy and light because we're supposed to be, and added pressure of family get-togethers and buying presents and maybe having to work a little bit harder because we're going to get some time off work and and all of that. And so I would encourage us all to remember what it's about. Remember what this season is truly about. It is about the remembrance of who we are, the remembrance of that bright light of prophets who have gone before. We celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ and what the teachings of Jesus Christ brought to this world. Muhammad is said to have been born on December 26th, and there's a celebration of the Prophet Muhammad, and any number of other things. So I won't go into all the specific details of the different religious practices, but it is the purpose is to see our human experience at a time of darkness, searching for the light. And the other day I was driving home after dark, of course, like somebody mentioned, it gets dark early, and the house next door to us is all decorated in lights, and it's like, it's isn't that beautiful? Isn't that wonderful? It's so nice to see this bright light in the darkness. But by like February, if those lights are still up, you're thinking, it's time to take them down, Or even in your own home, like it's so exciting when you get your holiday decorations up and the lights are on, and then we get tired of it. Kind of, what does that tell us about our humanity? Like, let's not just be too happy here, But it points out the importance of contrast, really, that when it's light all the time, we take advantage of it, and it's not special anymore. And so it takes then that darkness for us to, once again, remember that, isn't light wonderful? So light in our life, and so we're talking also about that inner light, and really remembering our divinity, remembering who we are. And I was thinking, yesterday I was supposed to be working on my talk, and I went to Meijer to get some gift cards. The Caring Committee gives out some gift cards to people that are in need every year, and so I went to get a stack of gift cards, and I had too many, it was over my limit, apparently. There's a limit on my church card, And so I'm in line. I was the only one in line, and I thought, okay, good, I know this takes time, and, there might be some glitches. And so, it didn't work, so I said, okay, let's just split them in half and get half of them, and that charge went through, or, that debit charge. And then there's this line behind me now, and I said to the cashier, I think I'll take the rest and go back to the back of the line so that all these people can go through, and we'll do the other half. And I said, okay. And then she was leaving the cash register, this is the normal checkout line, and going to customer service. So she said, well, meet me over at customer service and we'll finish it there. So there was another line. And, this woman had a couple of customers that just had big problems that took forever. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm supposed to be working on my talk, I need to get out of here. But, sitting here this morning, I realized I was working on my talk, because it gave me the experience of seeing this cashier's light. And here she's apologizing. When I finally got up, the second time to the customer service booth, she's apologizing to me because it took so long. And I said, no, it's fine. I just want you to know I'm so grateful for you being here and being so kind to the people that you were just helping. And she's kind of surprised at that, But, how many times do people appreciate the cashiers? But, everyday real life gives us opportunities to choose darkness or light. Am I going to sit here or stand here grumbling about I need to go work on my talk and why did I do this today and beating myself up and what have you, or how come these cars don't work, or how come I didn't remember this happened last year and here I'm doing it again. But none of that, it just all kind of flittered away, all those little thoughts, like clouds floating by, and I was just being grateful for what was, what was. So the message is, in our lives, in all of your lives, every day, there's opportunity to choose darkness or light, to be that light for others. And that's really what we're called to do. We're called to be the light. And do it in small ways. It doesn't have to be in the big ways. It can be in little small ways in every moment of life. And so I have just a few more things from A Course in Miracles, and this is about the darkness and the light. And so from the Course it says, our job is not to bring light to the dark, but to bring our darkness to the light. It's not to try to cover over the darkness, it's to allow that darkness to show, to be seen, and then to bring it to the light. So our job is simply to bring our darkness to the Holy Spirit, and it is He who brings the light. We have hidden the ego's darkness behind walls of denial, which the Course describes metaphorically as dark doors in our minds, guarded by sentinels of darkness. Since darkness vanishes automatically in light, it is not our darkness that keeps us from God, but the act of hiding it behind the dark doors. Once we have brought it to light, we can fulfill our function of bringing light to the darkness of the world, just as the Holy Spirit does. So that might have sounded a little bit like a contradiction, but it's like we can't do it ourselves. We need God's presence within us to bring the darkness to the light and to let the light shine. But the more we do that, the more light we become, the more light-filled we are, that we're aware of, that we can express. And then we fulfill our function and can continue to bring the light. So, and then just another little quote that I will close and then open it up for open mic. I am not weak, but strong. I am not helpless, but all-powerful. I am not limited, but unlimited. I am not doubtful, but certain. I am not an illusion, but a reality. I cannot see in darkness, but I can see in light. And so, may we continue to look for the light and bring our darkness to the light, and thus be the light that this world really needs. So, thank you, and I would like to hear your thoughts now.